So I'm going to show you how to do start a chain, a row of chain with a slip knot to begin with. Okay, so I'm going to take my first 2 fingers and my wool. I'm going to wrap it around my 2 fingers. That is going to form an X, and then I'm going to hold the X and secure the wool between my 3rd and 4th finger so that you've got like tram lines here. Okay, I'm going to put my hook underneath the first thread and I'm going to pull the 2nd thread back under, and that will form a loop which we can then tighten a little bit into a narrower one by pulling both ends. Okay, and then I can start my chain stitch. Okay, I'm going to put my hook back through my loop. I'm going to hold the tail out of the way and I'm going to pull this tighter to my hook. I'm using quite a big hook just for demonstration, so this is a 4.5, okay, and it's a double knitting wool. Once I've got my first slip knot or my first hoop, I'm then going to secure the wool or anchor the wool between my 3rd and my 4th finger, and then I'm going to go under the wool here, hook it onto my crochet hook and pull it through the center of the first loop. Okay, and that gives you 1 chain. I'm going to hold onto the chain, I'm going to go under the wool, pull it through the center of the hoop, and that gives me 2. I'm going to hold this secure, I'm going to go under again and pull it through. That gives me 3 chain, and you can continue until you have the desired number of chains that you require to start your project. So if I go under the wool, pull it through the center of my hoop, and that gives me another chain. Go under, pull it through, and that gives me another chain. Okay, under, pull it through, and that gives me another chain. The thing that you're trying to keep consistent is the size of your chain. So just be aware of how big you're pulling the loop through so that you can try and keep your chain stitches pretty much even. Okay, so just to show again, you go under the wool and pull it through your chain. Oh, pull it through your hoop, your hole. Under the chain, under the wool, pull it through the middle of your hoop. Okay, under, pull it through the middle of your hoop. Under, pull it through the middle of your hoop. And you can see now that we've got a nice run of chain stitches here. Okay, if you want to join it, then what you do is you go back to the start. I tend to hold it in the middle, so you go back to your very first chain stitch, you put it through the center, you pull up a piece of wool on your hook and you pull it through, and then you pull it through a second time, which then creates your ring. Okay, and then most patterns will tell you then to do 2 chains to start whatever you're doing, so then that gives you the option to go under, pull it through the hole, and then that's your first chain. Go under, pull it through the hole, that's your 2nd chain. Go under, pull it through, that's your 3rd one. And then that would then lead on to anything that you wanted, like trebles or double stitches, depending on what your pattern required. Okay, if you just wanted to make a nice little bookmark just to practice your chain, you can just cut your thread off and loop your end of your thread through your last hole, and that will then secure your chain for you, and it will give you a nice little handy bookmark. Okay, thank you for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye.